we are today. Last reunion that we had in 2014.
So we are documenting the Ross family reunion 2016. Could you state your name for us?
Yes, my name is Earnestine Ross. My name is Earnestine Ross Graves.
Okay, great. And you were born when and where?
I was born December 31st, 1940, in a rural area in Mississippi. And the name of the place was Foot, Mississippi, and it was named after one of the old landowners who owned the plantation. So during that time, you know, they would name the large plantations after the plantation owner. So it was called Foot, Mississippi. So I was born there and I grew up there in Foot, Mississippi.
So Foot, Mississippi was a plant. It was Foot plantation. It was a plantation, or was it?
As a matter of fact, it was several plantations. It was the Laws plantation, the Griffin plantation, the Skinner's plantation. So all that little area made up that little, I guess you would call it like a little hamlet. It was not a city or town, just a rural area.
Okay, okay. I remember my mother talking about the Laws plantation.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. And
she worked with me for the last couple.
So could you tell us something about what it was like growing up there?
Well, as a child growing up, I had a loving mother and father, and my grandparents, and I had my aunts and uncles around me, like Aunt Phoebe, Aunt Irene, Uncle James, Aunt Amelia, and then I had my grandparents. It was Edmund Ross and Phoebe Brooks Ross, and we didn't live too far away from them, so we had lots of love, lots of, you know, people surrounding us and taking care of us. We weren't rich or anything, but we grew up on a plantation. We had my parents raised their own food, their chickens, their pigs, and the cows, and various things like that. Cotton, we picked cotton and what have you. And my parents were able, you know, to make things. As I said, they were carrying their own food. My mother was a great seamstress, so she made clothes for us and things for the household. So we really didn't know as children what it was to, you know, suffer for anything, because as I said, we had a lot of love from our parents and grandparents and various friends and neighbors, and we were very well cared for. The only thing that I didn't like too much about it, that we didn't have a good school system, and I had to travel 30 miles away when I was about 5 years old to go to school. So I lived with my aunt and uncle so I could get into a good school.
Did you state your parents' name?
My parents was Carl Frederick Ross, and he was the son of Edmund Ross and Phoebe Ross, and he was married to my mother, Laura Franklin.
Okay. So, do you have any experiences of, you know, how your education, and when you went to stay with your parents, your aunt and uncle, who were they?
My aunt and uncle was my mother's youngest brother. His name was Isaiah Franklin, and his wife was Cleola Franklin, and he was my mother's youngest brother. They didn't have any children, so it was just a joy to have me to come to live with them. And I went to school in Greenville, Mississippi, and the public school, which was at that time, was a very well organized a school. It went from K through 9th grade.
Oh, wow. Okay. So any other things any stories, anything you would like to put on film for the younger generation? I know last night you were telling a story about
Well, I have a very funny story about Grandma and Grandma Phoebe.
Okay.
As I said, Grandma Phoebe was a very stern woman. She's very serious and what have you. And this story was kind of kept quiet, because grandmother was a religious woman, and so was grandpa. They went to children. They went to church, and there was a lady that had the same name as Grandma. Her name was Phoebe also. So every Sunday, she would always make it her point to go up and talk to Grandpa about something. So that made Grandma Phoebe kind of jealous. So she wanted to know, what was this woman always in her husband's face talking about something? So Grandma decided that she would put this ice pick in her pocketbook. In her pocketbook, because she was going to have a word with that woman about always in her husband's face. So if the woman had said anything, got out of place, or got smart with her, she was going to poke her with the ice pick. So, but what happened, I guess it was a spiritual thing that happened to grandmother. The preacher was preaching, and Grandma got so overjoyed with the Holy Spirit, she had the pocketbook in her hand, and she was shouting, and she took it and she threw the pocketbook way up in the air, and the pocketbook landed against the wall. Everybody was looking for that pocketbook,